It was a sun-drenched golden afternoon in a quiet neighborhood park. One of those perfect days where the air itself seemed to hum with contentment. Birds orchestrated a cheerful symphony from the canopy of ancient oak trees. Flowers painted the borders in vibrant bursts of color, and the distant, carefree laughter of children at play was the melody of the scene. But amidst this portrait of simple joy, a poignant contrast sat silently on one of the green-painted benches. A little girl in a wheelchair watched the world move around her, her eyes holding a deep, quiet sadness that seemed too heavy for her young shoulders. Her hands rested motionless on her lap as she observed other children, their legs pumping with boundless energy, chasing balls or being swung high by beaming parents. The longing in her gaze was a tangible thing, a silent echo in the bustling park. Her attention drifted to a man sitting on a nearby bench, his own expression thoughtful as he watched a young boy, presumably his son, enthusiastically chase a flock of pigeons. Gathering a courage that belied her years, she guided her wheelchair slowly toward him, the soft whir of its motors barely audible. With lips that trembled slightly, she looked up and whispered a question so profound, so vulnerable, that it would forever alter the trajectory of multiple lives. "Sir," she began, her voice barely more than a breath, "could you pretend to be my daddy just for one day?" That one simple, heartbreaking question changed everything. Dear viewers of Kindness True Stories, welcome everyone to a place where we share real-life moments that pierce through the noise of the world and remind us of the incredible, transformative power of human kindness. If you believe, as we do, that our world craves more genuine love, more selfless compassion, and more profound understanding, then you are in the right place. Please help us spread this light by subscribing to Kindness True Stories, liking this video, and sharing this story with someone who needs to hear it today. And don't forget to become part of our community by telling us in the comments below, what is the kindest thing someone has ever done for you? Your personal story might just be the spark of hope someone else is desperately searching for. Now let's journey back to that park and meet the man whose heart was opened by a little girl's wish. His name was Michael, a single father who had recently moved to this sleepy town with his 7-year-old son, Ethan, seeking a fresh start amidst familiar grief. Life had been a steep, arduous climb since his wife, Clara, passed away after a brief, fierce illness 2 years prior. Most days, Michael operated on a kind of autopilot of strength, packing lunches, helping with homework, offering bedtime stories, all while carrying within him a quiet, persistent sorrow that felt like a permanent resident in his chest. He was going through the motions of living for Ethan's sake, but the vibrant colors of his own life had faded to a muted gray. On that particular afternoon, Michael and Ethan had ventured to the park simply to fill the hours, to bask in the physical warmth of the sun in hopes it might seep into their emotional world. Ethan was momentarily captivated by a soap bubble wand another child had, his giggles ringing out as he chased the iridescent orbs. It was then that Michael's peripheral vision caught the still figure of the girl in the wheelchair. She was perhaps 8 or 9, with a cascade of curly blonde hair tied back in a slightly messy ponytail, and she wore a simple yellow dress. But it was her eyes that captivated and then shattered him. They held a universe of wistful observation, tracking the movements of the playing families with a hunger that had nothing to do with food. She was, he thought, a spectator in the theater of her own childhood, and the loneliness that radiated from her small frame was a palpable force. Then she moved, maneuvering her chair with a practiced ease until she was directly before him, and she issued her gentle, world-stopping request, adding the soft, crucial detail. "It's my birthday." Michael was utterly stunned, his mind momentarily blank. His first instinct was to scan the park for a parent, a guardian, anyone who might be looking for this child. But the benches nearby were empty, and no one seemed to be watching her. The park's joyful noise seemed to recede into a distant hum as he focused on her. She looked down at her small hands, fingers intertwined, and offered the explanation that would pierce his soul. Mom said Daddy's in heaven. I just wanted to know what it feels like to have a daddy on my birthday. In that instant, something profound and long frozen within Michael cracked open. He felt a hot pressure behind his eyes, a surge of empathy so powerful it stole his breath. Here was a child articulating a loneliness that mirrored his own, a gaping absence where love should have been. Without a second thought, pushing his own grief aside, he leaned forward, his voice thick with emotion, yet gentle as a summer breeze. Of course, he said, meeting her earnest gaze. I'd be honored to be your dad for today. The transformation on her face was nothing short of miraculous. A smile bloomed, so wide and pure and radiant that it seemed to outshine the afternoon sun. A smile that reached her previously sad eyes and lit them from within. Really? She whispered, as if afraid the dream would pop like one of Ethan's bubbles. Really, he affirmed, his own heart beginning to ache in a new, healing way. What's your name, sweetheart? Lily, she said, her confidence growing. My name's Lily. And so, Michael embarked on the most important role of his life. Dad for a day, he introduced Lily to Ethan, who, after a moment of shy curiosity, accepted her with the effortless openness of children. We have a new friend for your birthday, Ethan, Michael announced, and the boy grinned. Their first mission was to the park's ice cream vendor. Michael bought 3 cones, chocolate for Ethan, strawberry for Lily, and vanilla for himself. They sat on the bench, a temporary makeshift family, licking their treats as the ice cream dripped in the warmth. Lily's delight was in the small things, the cold sweetness, the way Michael had a napkin ready for her. The casual question, "Is it good, kiddo?" A term of endearment she stored away in her heart. Next was play. Understanding Lily's mobility, Michael invented a gentle game of catch using soft, foam balls that were light and easy to grip. He would roll the ball carefully toward her, and she would laugh, catching it and tossing it back with surprising strength. Ethan joined in, running to retrieve errant throws. His laughter mingling with Lily's, the sound of that laughter. Lily's laughter was a gift to Michael. It was unfettered, joyous, and it filled the space around them with a warmth he hadn't realized had been missing from his life. Yet in the quiet moments between throws, he still saw a shadow, a hint of lingering sorrow, in the depths of her blue eyes. Later, they moved to the pond, where Michael bought a bag of seed from a dispenser. Taking turns, they fed the eager ducks that paddled toward them. Lily carefully tossed a handful, watching with rapt attention as the ducks quacked and dabbled. "They're like little vacuum cleaners," Ethan observed, making Lily giggle. As the afternoon began to mellow, they returned to the bench, tired but happy. The 3 of them sat, watching the sunlight dapple through the leaves. It was then that Lily looked up at Michael, her expression turning solemn. "Do you think Dad's in heaven can see us?" she asked, the weight of the question hanging in the air. Michael took a deep, steadying breath. He thought of Clara, of Lily's father, of all the love that persists beyond sight. "I do, Lily," he said softly, his voice full of conviction. "I think they watch over us every single day, and I think your dad is looking right now, and he is so proud of the brave, wonderful girl you are." Her eyes, those windows to a soul that had known too much loss for its age, instantly filled with shimmering tears. But they were not tears of sadness alone. They were tears of recognition, of a truth felt deeply. A beautiful, wobbly smile touched her lips. "Mom says the same thing," she confided, and in that shared belief, a new bond was cemented. They sat in a comfortable, understanding silence for a while, the only sound being Ethan's happy shouts as he attempted cartwheels on the grass. Then Lily turned to Michael once more, her small hand patting his arm. "You're a good daddy, Mr. Michael," she stated, with the absolute authority of a child. He chuckled, a genuine rusty sound that felt good. "Well, I try my best, Lily." "No," she insisted, her gaze unwavering and serious. "Seriously, you really are." That moment, simple and profound, etched itself permanently onto Michael's soul. He had come to the park to give his son a normal day, but he received a revelation. It wasn't just Lily who needed an act of kindness that day. He desperately needed it too. In stepping outside of his own grief to tend to hers, he had accidentally begun to tend to his own wounds. For the first time in 2 long years, he felt a stirring inside, a gentle, healing warmth that began to thaw the perpetual cold he carried. He felt seen, not as a widower or a struggling single dad, but simply as a good daddy. The validation, coming from this wise little stranger, was a balm. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in breathtaking strokes of orange, pink and purple, a woman with kind, tired eyes and hair, the same shade of blonde as Lily's, hurried into the park. Her face was etched with a gentle worry that melted into soft relief when she saw Lily, and then into something deeper, awed gratitude as she took in the scene. Her daughter laughing between a man and a boy, a half-eaten ice cream cone in her hand, a crown of dandelions Ethan had woven sitting slightly crooked on her head. Michael stood as she approached. "You must be Lily's mom," he said. "I'm Michael. This is my son Ethan." "Sarah," she replied, her voice emotional. She looked at her daughter's radiant, utterly happy face. "I got held up at work. I was so worried. She usually just reads here by herself." Michael gently explained the day's extraordinary events, the request, the birthday, the games. Sarah listened, her hand coming to her mouth as tears welled in her eyes. When he finished, she looked from Michael to Lily and back again. "Thank you," she said, the words imbued with a profound depth. "You have no idea. Today of all days is so hard for her, for us. You have given her a gift I couldn't." But Michael shook his head. "She gave me one too," he confessed quietly. And in that shared glance between adults, an understanding passed, a recognition of mutual loss and the unexpected bridges that can span it. This, dear friends of Kindness True Stories, is where many beautiful stories could end. But this was only the beginning. The kindness ignited on that park bench did not fade with the sunset. It became a pilot light, waiting to fuel a lasting flame. In the following days, Michael found himself thinking constantly of Lily's smile, of her question about heaven, of the way his own heart had felt lighter. He mentioned her to Ethan, who immediately asked, "When do we see our friend again?" So the next weekend, they returned to the park, hoping, and there, like a promise, sat Lily and Sarah. The reunion was joyful. What began as a single day of pretend gracefully naturally blossomed into a deep and chosen family. Michael became a steady, supportive figure in Lily's life, a father figure in every way that mattered. He helped her with tricky math homework over video calls, his patience a match for her determination. He sat in the stands at her wheelchair basketball games, his and Ethan's cheers the loudest in the gym, celebrating every point, every assist, every display of her incredible spirit. He was there for school plays, for birthdays, for moments when she just needed to talk about her dad in heaven, and Michael could listen because he understood that particular brand of missing. Ethan gained not just a friend, but a sister in spirit. Their bond was fierce and joyful. He became her biggest defender at school, her partner in silly adventures, and in turn, Lily taught him empathy, resilience, and how to see ability over disability. Sarah found in Michael a trusted friend and confidant. They shared the unspoken language of solo parents, the struggles of balancing work and guilt, the lonely moments in decisions big and small. They supported each other, creating a network where there had been isolation. They navigated birthdays, holidays, and ordinary weekends together, weaving their lives into a rich tapestry of mutual support and love. The kindness that sparked from a child's lonely question grew into a sustained, glowing light, illuminating the darker corners of all their lives. Michael discovered that his capacity to love was not buried with Clara. It was alive, expanded, and multiplied by his willingness to open his heart again. He learned that healing isn't about forgetting, but about making room for new love alongside the old. Lily's innocent request had unlocked a door for all of them, leading to a shared path of recovery and joy. Her simple yearning became the catalyst for a story far greater than any one of them, a story proving that family is often a verb, an action, defined not by blood, but by the daily choices to show up. to listen, to share burdens and amplify joys, to fill silent spaces with understanding and laughter. Their story is a living testament to how a single act of vulnerability, met with an open heart, it can trigger a chain reaction of love that mends broken pieces and builds something breathtakingly new and beautiful. The park remained their touchstone, a hallowed ground where the memory of that first meeting lingered in the rustle of the oak leaves and the distant echoes of playing children, a permanent, peaceful monument to the day. A little girl asked for a dad and found one, and a grieving man offered a day and found a reason to live fully again. So what is the lesson here for all of us at Kindness True Stories? It whispers that grief and loneliness, while profound, need not be life sentences in solitary confinement. They can, if we allow it, become bridges. It takes immense courage to be the one who asks, like Lily, or the one who says yes, like Michael. Their lives became a continuous narrative of the kindness that began with one question on a sunny afternoon, a narrative that still unfolds with each shared meal, each inside joke, each supportive glance across a room. It proves the most powerful stories are rarely those of grand, one-off gestures, but of consistent, quiet choices to love beyond society's expected boundaries, to see a need and quietly fill it, to recognize a shared fragility in a stranger's eyes and answer its call without hesitation. This creates a legacy of compassion that outlasts a single day and becomes the very foundation of a new, hopeful and interconnected life. If this story touched your heart, please let us know by liking this video. It helps us share more light. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder that family can be found in the most unexpected places. And most importantly, subscribe to Kindness True Stories and hit that notification bell. We share real stories like this every week. Stories that celebrate the good in people, because share this story with someone who needs a reminder that family can be found in the most unexpected places. And most importantly, subscribe to Kindness True Stories and hit that notification bell. We share real stories like this every week. Stories that celebrate the good in people, because we believe in nourishing hope. Now it's your turn. We are a community built on shared experiences. In the comments below, tell us, what's the kindest thing someone has ever done for you? Or perhaps, when was a time you offered a small kindness that ended up meaning more than you ever imagined? Your story matters. Your voice adds to this chorus of kindness. Let's keep this light growing together. Thank you for watching, for caring, and for being part of Kindness True Stories. Remember, a single act of kindness can be the beginning of a forever. See you in the next video.